So the Jessie saga continues, and we have a little bit of clarification about what is occurring and what is not occurring. So an eyewitness who was there in Las Vegas has come forward and tried to add some details. So let's get people quickly up to speed. Essentially, Jessie is a part of the FANDOM MENACE, as are, as far as I know, Gary and Jeremy, although they keep going back and forth. Like, Jeremy officially said he's not part of it, but then he is still part of it. So anyway, Nerdrotic and Geeks and Gamers have an event in Las Vegas, and basically they kicked Jessie out, but the eyewitness there is saying that no, that's not what happened. She was told ahead of time she shouldn't be in a certain place. The owner of the bar or establishment told them, and Gary basically just made it clear, yeah, we think you're going to cause a lot of drama. We need you to leave. So Jessie's not lying, but she is leaving out a few things because she's sort of kind of was puzzled as to what happened or why it happened, because as far as she knows, she has no issue with Gary or Nerdrotic. And that's true, but she's not giving all the details. So let's go through it a little bit more thoroughly. The origins of this is basically the Snyder Cut. What happened is Zack Snyder was on a stream with a lot of his fans and a lot of supporters, some of whom were Geeks and Gamers people. So, and they were doing it for a charity event, by the way. So again, I want to be very clear that Geeks and Gamers does do a lot for charity. And Uche, not Jeremy, was on the stream. And essentially just Zack was like, and Zack just clarified he had no formal tie to Geeks and Gamers. That's pretty much it. But Jeremy took it as an insult, and it just spiraled out of control where he thought it was outrageous, he was being slandered, and people just started taking sides. So even people who like Zack Snyder and who like Geeks and Gamers started to polarize, and some defended Zack, some hated him, some defended Jeremy, some hated him. Mecca Random comes in defending Geeks and Gamers, but she did so in a very ugly kind of video. And in that video, and I'll post this soon because it seems really, really outrageous, but she actually did say these things. She implied that Zack's daughter, who had committed suicide, might have committed suicide due to Zack Snyder. So of course that video gets taken down. She doesn't really apologize. She just says, well, it was a little bit of a joke. Some people need to just grow a pair of balls and just take it. And it just, again, created another controversy. But now it's slightly different. Before, it was, well, you're either defending Jeremy or you're not defending Jeremy. Now it became a Mecca issue. And people just split on that one. So Minute's Edge, which is a very big FANDOM MENACE channel and used to have Mecca on all the time, decided to basically ban her for a little bit of time. But Mecca went public with that banning. Jessie defended her publicly and said, I'm with Mecca. I don't care about Zack Snyder. I think the joke, okay, maybe it was a little poor in taste, but I thought it was fine. I don't really have a problem with it. Now, I myself, I want to state for the record, do have a problem with it. I do think it went way over the line. But we're going to hear Jessie and the Anna, the Star Wars girl, go back and forth, and they're going to clarify basically this missing context.
Just to be honest, I mean, you don't think Mecca didn't vent to Jessie about some stuff that happened, and Jessie's known much longer than I have about certain things? And, you know, especially, and when somebody says something about Jessie, I tell her, you know, if somebody's bad-mouthing my best friend, I'm going to tell her and I'm going to have her back. And so when somebody is bad-mouthing Jessie, you don't think that doesn't get back to Jessie? It doesn't get back to us?
Mm-hmm.
And so it is kind of hard, and it is hard to be professional sometimes and put on a straight, you know, a smiling face when there's and interact with people that you know have said very hurtful things to your friends, about your friends. And so I don't know what the solution to this is, but I know how this could have been prevented, which is being professional and handling this behind closed doors, which obviously did not happen. And it's not just with Mecca. There's been other people, which it's insanely frustrating.
I personally would also like to say my piece on the video. To me, Mecca said something that was received as a bad joke. She apologized and took it down. That's good enough for me. I understand, Anna, why you're going to receive that comment a certain way. Of course, that's going to be very, very personal for you. For me personally, I don't have those attachments. And I don't, even for things that are very sensitive for me, I've had very tasteless jokes made at my expense on certain things, and that's just not the way I take it. There's not a judgment on somebody who takes it differently. I'm personally just a person who doesn't get bothered by harsh jokes. It doesn't go cut deeper than the skin for me.
So Jesse's complaining about Tom at Midnight's Edge. Essentially what she's saying is that Tom keeps bullying and managing and just keep intervening in people's lives, being very emotionally abusive and really being a very bad person within the movement. Now, I don't have much to say about Midnight's Edge that's positive, because I do think they're very negative as well. However, she's only really specifically saying things about Tom. Now, how does Gary get involved? Well, Tom has been a guest on Friday Night Tights, which is a show that Gary runs over on his channel, Nerdrotic. So Jessi wasn't lying. She has no issue with Gary or Nerdrotic, at least none before this. And we can only make, I guess, a guess that Gary felt offended for Tom, didn't like how Jessi was going after him. Tom has been his guest on Friday Night Tights, and he just decided to speak up for him. And that's really what's behind this whole controversy. But for now, in terms of the record, we just don't know. Gary has not commented on this. Jeremy has not commented on this. Their latest videos are not on this. He did a video on Shang-Chi on Nerdrotic, and Jeremy did a video on The Last Jedi and Solo. But they haven't really, as far as I know, publicly commented. And they have social media. They haven't tweeted about this as far as I know. And they haven't done any videos. So it seems like they're basically going to just try to ignore the history and just, it never happened, right? But whatever you think of the Fandom Menace, or Geeks and Gamers, or Nerdrotic, this looks really, really bad, because it seems like they're trying to silence somebody in the Fandom Menace, and now they're trying to even censor news about it. Which, if you know their videos, they keep hammering over and over again that Lucasfilm, that Disney, the corporations, Warner Brothers, they're lying to you, they're censoring, they're silencing people, they're gagging people, we're not getting the whole truth. Well, when it comes to their own business or things that are embarrassing to them, they're doing the same thing. They're covering it up. Apparently, we're just going to pretend it never happened. Jessie's crazy. It's all in her head. And maybe it is all in her head. She doesn't have a good record either. She acknowledges she's had a lot of drama in public places. She gets into fights. So I'm not necessarily sticking up for Jessi. I don't like the fact that she's defending Mecca Random. But at least you can respect her position. At least she took a stance, and she hasn't changed. And she's clarified where she stands. Whereas Gary and Jeremy actually looks good in this controversy. They're just like, oh no, we don't know what happened. Nothing happened. It's like, okay. Gary's wife was involved. She spoke to Jessi at Las Vegas. So really, it's like you don't have a wife anymore? She's a non-existent woman too? Yeah, it just looks really, really strange and weird. But that apparently is the missing context. Is Tom at Midnight's Edge, and the way he's doing things behind the scenes is really getting some female people in the Fandom Menace really angry, and they don't like him very much. But they've been basically trying to cover that up for a long time, but it's now public. So maybe the women are the problem. Maybe Tom is innocent, right? I'm going to try to be fair-minded about this. I don't have any reason to be, because Tom has been very vicious to me personally. And I'll do something on that soon. So I have nothing to say good about Tom. He's pretty much a liar and a hypocrite in my book. But maybe in this case, he is the victim. Well, we're going to have to wait and see, because so far they're not clarifying what the hell happened. Thanks for listening.